Hey everybody, coming at you with our July and August update. The Swithin family is rested up, we're unpacked, we're back here in Alabama after a wild summer. And it'd be easy to get caught up in talking about all the drama that happened this summer. There was a lot of really tough stuff that went down, but that was just an indicator that we were directly over the target. So I'd rather focus on giving glory to God and bragging on Him about what He did this summer. And here it is. For those of you who don't have a lot of time, I'm just going to give you the cliff notes. And those of you that do, I'll go into a little bit more detail later on. So this summer, out of, I think, 12 camps total, we had 31 salvation decisions, rededication decisions, 31 baptisms, which is just absolutely bonkers to think about. And that's just in Colorado, New Mexico. That doesn't count all the other camps and all the other things going on around the country. It's just incredible what God did this summer. And so please, if you have time or try to make time, there's an attachment in this email that has tons of testimonies from mentors and ministry leaders and from students themselves who went out on walkabout this summer. I'd encourage you to check some of those out and just see what God did. Listen to how God moves in the hearts and in the minds of people. It's just a beautiful thing. And with that being said, an update on our documentary. I think the last time I checked, we had about 220,000 views on YouTube. We've had over 6 million impressions from all the media attention that the film got. And the good news is that we are now on Right Now Media, which is beautiful. And then the folks that made the cross and the switchblade, Vision Video, they contacted us, and we are now being put on Redeem TV as well as their YouTube channel. So that just means that millions of more people will be exposed to the film, which is a wonderful thing. So please celebrate with us in that the word is getting out. In fact, if you had the time to watch the Republican presidential debate, you probably heard the phrase "Fatherless Epidemic" multiple times. So this thing is spreading. We're seeing it all over the place. And the quote that I remember from that debate the most, I didn't get a chance to watch the entire debate, but in the highlight reels, what stuck out to me was one of the candidates saying that true privilege in America now is when kids get to be raised in a family with two loving parents. And I'd like to just add to that and say that true privilege in our country is being raised in a home with two loving parents who love Jesus. So let that sink in and celebrate with me on how God's used this film to make that a household phrase, and that we're getting the traction needed for change to take place, which is primarily the church stepping up and filling in the gap. So what a beautiful thing. Speaking of the documentary, we also finished our 35-minute short version. We would like churches to play that version in lieu of a sermon for Orphan Sunday, which is going to happen on November 12th this year. You could play it for a Sunday school class. You could have a showing for your church. But we want to make a huge push with this shorter version for churches to play it. And along with that, we're going to have a 52-week curriculum that will be coming out, because everything we do, one of our main goals is to push people back towards the Word of God. That's what everything we do should be rooted in. We should be building our house on a solid rock foundation. And last but not least, I think it's definitely worth mentioning, and I think it's because of the film, we have reached 44 states now. The Alliance for Ending the Fatherless Epidemic is now in 44 states. When someone sees the film and they give the film to their pastor, and then their pastor gets excited and contacts us and says, hey, we want our church to be a part of what you're doing, we can send that church and connect them with an equipping ministry who oftentimes will fly out to that church and train up that church and equip them to engage the fatherless in their own pews, and also those that are over the railroad tracks. So for those of you that don't have a lot of time, that's kind of my quick Cliff Notes update for you. And those that do have some time, I'll just elaborate a little bit more and tell you some more good news. One of the things that I feel God calling me to is discipleship of ministers. A wise person once said that a ministry to ministers is a ministry to the multitudes. And it's starting to make sense for me in my personal calling As I get older and as God has called me back to school to get my doctorate in ministry, I feel more and more that He's equipping me in the Word and equipping me with experience and wisdom to be able to help those young ministers that are just coming up, be it in fatherless ministry, youth ministry, or just ministry in general. They're going to be engaging the fatherless, whatever ministry they're in, and our primary focus is not just fatherless ministry, it's the gospel, it's moving the gospel forward, it's the Great Commission of making disciples. And so that's more and more where I feel that doors are opening, and God's providing me with unbelievable followers of Jesus who are new in ministry and just needing some help, needing some assistance, needing some wisdom, needing a big brother, a coach to come alongside them. So you can be praying for that and also thanking God for it. It's a privilege to be able to pour into some of these guys. The next thing is a new project. I can't elaborate too much about it. We're having trademark paperwork reviewed right now. It's already been submitted. So as soon as that's completed, we'll be able to let the cat out of the bag. But Cameron and I really feel led to a new project that will be focused on evangelism. And this is an initiative that we believe is going to go global. Our goal and our prayer is to reach millions with the gospel. And we are just really pumped about it, and we can't wait to share more information with you. In the meantime, be praying for the doors that need to be opened, and for provision and for guidance. This is one of those projects, like a lot of the projects we do, where we feel like we're just ants who've been told to build a skyscraper. And so this is way too big for Cameron and I. And we like it that way because we get to totally depend on the Lord, right? And cry out to Him for help. And we believe He's called us to do it, which means that He's going to accomplish it through us if it be His will. And so we're not stressed about it. We're just desperate for the Lord to move, to bring this thing to fruition, for us to be able to cross the finish line and get it done. This will probably be a 2 or 3 year project if I had to guess. As of right now, the Lord's saying, go slow and take your time. We're not going to rush this thing. And so just be praying for that. And speaking of prayer, those are all the things that we could celebrate together. I know it's a lot of stuff to throw at you, but what a beautiful thing. I mean, we're in 44 states. We've reached millions with the documentary, and just in outdoor adventures through walkabouts alone, 31 baptisms this summer. If I had to guess, there's no way to track the numbers now. That's one of the downsides of expansion, is we're in a situation where we can't accurately track the numbers, but I would guess that tens of thousands of kids have been reached this summer. That's a low ball estimate, and I'd say hundreds and hundreds of baptisms and salvations this summer. And so it's just really neat to see things grow in that manner and to be able to bear much fruit. We love that. We give all of the credit to the Lord for that. We can share the gospel and we can do what we do faithfully, and Cameron and I work tirelessly to do what we do, but it's the Lord that draws the hearts of men. It's Him who does the internal work. And so to see Him work is just so cool. It's one thing to see a miracle where someone's health is healed. Those are beautiful things. I've gotten to see those before. But to me, the most beautiful miracle is when a human is made into a new creature and they're born again of spirit and water. It's just the coolest thing ever. And we get to see that a lot. My favorite story from this summer was seeing a young man watch us baptize kids, and kids give their lives to Jesus in the hot tub. And as he was witnessing it, we invited him to share in the gospel and get baptized, and he accepted. It was absolutely beautiful. It was wonderful. So things to pray for. Please pray for Caleb Beard. As you know, he's one of my sons, and he is on mission in Jordan. And attached to this email will be another sheet it's just a Word document you can open up. It's his update with some prayer requests if you're interested in finding out more about what he's doing. The next thing is prayer for speaking engagements. I'll be speaking on a podcast here in a couple days. On the 7th, I'll be speaking at a conference in Florida. in a couple weeks, and then in October I'll be speaking at a men's conference in Arizona. Can you just pray that I would get out of the way and allow the Lord to speak through me? That would be awesome. And then last but not least, for my doctorate, would you just pray for perseverance? Just to be transparent, it's really hard, and I have not thought about quitting things before. It's not in my nature to quit stuff unless the Lord asks me to. But I think about quitting this D-Min program like every day. But the Lord's called me to do it, so I'm not going to quit. I just need help with having a better attitude. Writing 70 to 80 page papers every couple months is pretty challenging. I don't mind the reading of books and stuff like that. I love reading. Anybody who knows me knows that. But it's just this program's very challenging when you have babies to raise and a ministry that's going on and going on date nights with my wife and making sure my marriage is solid and making sure I get sleep once in a while, So it's a lot. So please pray for me, pray for perseverance, pray that I can cross the finish line with that thing too. And that's all I have for you in this update. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. And I'm not going to ask for anything else. God has been faithful to provide, and I just really feel led, and so does Cameron, for us, instead of asking for things or letting you know what our financial needs are, just to take this opportunity to say thank you. And we just feel overwhelmed that people would see what we're doing and feel God tug on their heart, and then to open up their billfold and to sow into what we're doing. It's just beautiful. And my heart is overwhelmed with gratitude. This summer, seeing Centerpoint Church and Open Door Church and all the people pouring into our campers, and then our staff, Kelsey and Tim Shepherdson and Caleb Beard, running the show and loving on those kids and showing them red carpet hospitality all summer. But then seeing the provision that came in the 11th hour, we got fully funded. I think it was one of our last trips. The money finally came in, and we were fully funded for the summer. And it was just amazing to see the faithfulness of folks to serve and to pray and to encourage and to give. And so I just want to say thank you once again. I really appreciate you guys, your friendship and your encouragement and your love and support. I hope you really do see the fruit in what we're doing, and I hope that those of you who give, you feel like that it's good stewardship to support this ministry, that you see the outcomes, you see the fruit, and you say, this is honoring the Lord, and this is a good place to invest the money He's entrusted to us. And that's what we're aiming for, is to be faithful stewards of our call, our assignment, and every single penny that comes in the door for our mission. So thank you from the deepest depths of my heart. And Cameron wants me to send her thanks and her gratitude as well. We just really appreciate you guys, and we love you so much. And we look forward to updating you in the future. All right, bye-bye now.